Long time no see. Long time no see. Long time no see. How y'all feeling, man? How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling? How y'all doing? How y'all doing, man? Long time no see. We we making moves, man. We are making moves. Let me so yeah, as y'all know, the my Twitter's kind of messed up, but it's it's all good. It's all good. I'm gonna put the link to my new Twitter, but how y'all doing, man? How y'all doing? I need to do some promoting right quick. Let me share the live with some people so we can get some friends up in here. But how y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? It's been a long time since I talked to y'all. So how y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Join up, return, right there. All right, got that going. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Is everything good? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Is everything good? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? I ain't did this in like 3 weeks, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't did this in like 3 weeks, bro. What's good? How y'all feeling? Weekend here. How you feeling? How you feeling? All right, so first I just want to say thank y'all because there's been a lot of stuff going on with my social medias at this point, but I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. So the first trade, well, not the first trade, but George Niang. What's up, Jimmy? How you feeling, baby? George Niang, Celtics legend. It's like, nah. Uh he lasted what, 43 days? Hype just sees. Hey, that's exactly what I said. That's exactly what I said. I said, listen, we got action. It's been a long time with no action. It is what it is. But the first trade, I keep saying first trade like it was two trades. Um, George Niang, he is no longer a Celtic. We traded him to the Utah Jazz and to future seconds. I don't know what seconds we gave up. Hopefully they're not like in the near future, but all those seconds in those previous trades where people are just like, you back for good now? Yes, sir, I'm back. I was on a work thing for 3 weeks, so I didn't have my stuff. I was out of town, blah blah blah. But I am back. I am back. So yeah, all those like second round picks that we got in those previous trades where people are just like, oh, we got some sweeteners. The sweeteners help. The sweeteners will always help. And this allowed us to completely get off the Kristaps contract, right? That is completely shedded. Like he made what, 30 M's, and then we traded. How we feeling, fam? Hey, I'm feeling okay, Ernesto. How you feeling, brother? Yeah. The Kristaps contract was 30 million. We traded him for Georges, which gave us 22 million in savings there. Then we just traded George Niang for RJ Lewis, who's on a two-way contract. The things I know about RJ Lewis, he was a guy that was on my radar. I thought he was gonna go like late second round. He was at St. John's last season. He averaged like 18 and 8. So he was a good college player last year. Do you believe they'll try to get Ben Simmons minimum? I don't believe they will try to do that. So in total, we trade KP Drew in 2 seconds for Simons, RJ Lewis, and Chris Boucher. How we feel about that? As far as like trying to win, nah. See, that's why the Chris Boucher move kind of like, I like Chris Boucher. I like Chris Boucher, but I liked it more when I knew that the Celtics were trying to win. You know what I'm saying? So like, if Tatum was playing, we probably keep Drew. We might still trade Kristaps, but if if I know that the team is trying to win the championship, Chris Boucher has always been a player that I would have loved on this team, especially last year where he was just dogging, like he was amazing last year. So, but I'll get to that. So, the Georges Niang trade for RJ Lewis, this puts us $10.7 million under the second apron. It puts us 1.7 over the first apron. So we are really, really, really close to being under the first apron. I don't know if we do another move. But the trade for RJ, he had already agreed to a two-way with the Jazz. So that means that all of our two-way contracts are filled up now. The problem with that is maybe it's not a problem. Maybe something else is happening. I don't know. But the problem with that is my boy Mario Williams ain't signed yet. Max Shoga has a two-way contract. Um, Miles Norris has a two-way contract, and then RJ Lewis, who we just traded for, steps in and gets that two-way contract. Now he holds that. Now the thing that gives me some optimism is you can like take two ways, like it's so much flexibility in like the two ways, right? You can trade them, you can take them away from a player at any time, right? So I'm not really that like nervous yet, but I am kind of nervous. Plus, you add in the Chris Boucher signing, right? I thought we were gonna sign Charles Bassey. Like I thought like somebody was gonna sign Charles. Wait, I haven't been reading comments. I'm sorry, y'all. Not a huge fan of RJ Lewis. He can't shoot. He's a scrappy defender and a hell of an athlete. Yeah. He wasn't that big on my draft. Like thing for the Celtics. He was good last year. I will say that, but he shot about 33% from three last season. He's more of a scorer than a shooter. Yeah, like you said, hell of a defender. So, Bassey wants to be a Celtic. I want Bassey to be a Celtic. He a stretch for probably talking about Boucher. So Amari Williams can't get on a two-way right now. No, he can't. Amari Williams cannot be on a two-way right now. And again, there's so much flexibility with two ways. So I don't know if they make room for him. But I think it's a lot more plausible to have him on a two-way than a standard contract, right? He like hasn't done anything yet, type shit. So to be on a standard contract, and he was the 46th overall pick. It's rare to have like a 46 overall pick just jump up to a standard contract without like doing anything. I'm still like going through the summer league games. I think I just watched the Heat one where Jordan Walls got ejected, but he didn't play in that game. But like unless the Celtics just love him and like we give him like a 4-year deal with like 1.5 a year, that's cool to me. But you would probably rather have Charles Bassey on a standard contract. You would of course rather have Chris Boucher, but I don't understand the Luka Garza thing now. Well, I never understood the Luka Garza thing. But now with Charles Bassey being on of course the Celtics did not know these things were going to happen. So I'm not saying like they're horrible but I saw there were so many other options out there than Garza, right? So now you have what? You have Kada, Garza, Al left, Porzingis left. Hopefully you got Amari Williams. I hope you got Amari Williams. And now you got Chris Boucher, who's like not a 5, he's like a 4. He's way more of a 4. So, but he'll probably start for us, no? Chris Boucher's probably gonna start for us. I don't mind it. He can shoot the ball. He can put the ball on the floor a little bit. He can block shots. I'm not sure like how good of an actual defender he is, but I know he has long ass arms. He's about 6'8", 6'9". He's about 6'8", 6'9". So I do like Chris Boucher's game. I think we can sign him back next year or sign and trade because his stock will rise with us. Yeah, I'm assuming you're talking about Chris Boucher. Because RJ's on the last two. Yeah. Simons, D. White, Brown, Boucher, Kada. Yeah, I think Amari will be on standard contract just based on the big situation. I fucking hope he is. PP and Hauser off the bench. Baylor. I do not like Amari on the standard. I much rather give Bassett the standard. Amari's not ready for standard. I'm sorry, I like his passing all, but he is not a rim protector or lob threat. I've had some people tell me, I don't know if this was you, Matthew, but I've had some people like were like really concerned that the Celtics weren't like throwing him lobs, and like Kentucky didn't throw him a lot of lobs last season. Like he can catch lobs. He can be a lob threat, but that's just never been his role at all. And then the first game, the Grizzlies game where he played in the summer league, he was open for lobs so many times. They just never passed it to him. And he did catch a couple lobs at Kentucky. And he's he's athletic enough to catch a lob. I hope you guys know that he's athletic enough to catch a lob. And that's just not his role because he had the ball in his hands for 80% of their possession. So he can be a lob threat. He is a lob threat. He's not a rim protector. I wouldn't say he's that. He can block shots, but I wouldn't say he's a rim protector. So yes, you're right about that. But he can be a lob threat. He is athletic enough to catch a lob and is somebody that can finish lob. He needs a lot of work before he gets a standard. I do agree with that. I don't think he's ready for a standard contract yet, especially being the 46th overall pick. Like the only second, not the only, but the most recent second round pick to get like a standard deal was Bronny, and we know like the influence on that. Even though I love Bronny, he older than I thought. You talking about RJ? 36. Oh, you talking about Chris Boucher? Yeah. I still wait. Where was I just at? Yeah, I still rather get Baylor and Walsh minutes. Yeah, no, I think Chris Boucher he's gonna start. Honestly, I thought we signed Bassie. We still can. I think we still have an open roster spot. But then that like I would rather have Bassie on a standard contract than Amari. But I don't want to just cut Amari. Like what the develop. He a decent Horford clone as close as you can get for cheap. Tillman still on the team. Yeah, Tillman too. Like what, bro? I don't even want to get started on Tillman, bro, because the year we traded for Tillman, bro, he was literally a top 10 defender in the NBA. Like literally, he was listen. There's Bam Adebayo, there's AD, right? After those guys, I hadn't seen a better switch in 5 than Tillman that year. If you think I'm lying, I got, bro, like I detailed Tillman to the nail that season because he just brung an element to our team that we needed, bro. Like he was not a great shooter. And then for somebody that size to be that quick on his feet laterally and to switch onto not just any player, I mean star players. He was switching on to T-Book, Trae Young. He was switching on to everybody, bro. And he came off of that season and signed for a 2-year minimum, bro. And I'm like, shit, we just got the 12th most impactful defender in the NBA on a 2-year minimum. And then he dealt with some knee injury stuff, and you could clearly tell that him moving his feet was like it was not the same person. Also, he didn't cover that with getting better as a shooter, so he really just didn't do anything last season. Hopefully, Tillman can take a step up. But yeah, I was talking about the Garza signing, which like it did make sense to me at the time. It really doesn't make sense now. And then like you signed him. Wait, we signed Garza to 2 years, right? Is he does Garza have a team option, or is that Josh Minot who has the team option? Luka Garza contract. Because if he just got like a regular 2-year deal, fully guaranteed, why do we do that? It didn't make sense at the time. Why do we give him a 2? Okay, whatever. I don't get the Garza thing at all ever. I feel like Brad jumped the gun on that. He did, bro, because there's no way we should have there's no way that he should have got a fully guaranteed 2-year deal. Like no one was jumping the gun to sign Luka Garza. Like you didn't have to beat out anybody to sign Luka Garza. I promise you didn't have to. Boucher a true wild card. Tillman can go coming from a Raptors fan. Tillman showed pretty much nothing on any part of the floor to be taking minutes away from more capable guys like Boucher. I agree. Whomever is your best player at finding cutters and lobs will be Boucher's best teammate. Amari Williams and Boucher. Tank was on, now back off. See, now that is why the Boucher thing was a surprise to me because, again, I said this, right? If Tatum was playing, and I knew for a fact that the Celtics were trying to go for a championship and two had the roster to compete for a championship, Boucher makes so much sense. I wanted Boucher last year. But that was because I knew that this team is trying to win a championship. Without Tatum, without Drew, without KP, you know what I'm saying? It didn't really make sense to me to get Chris Boucher, right? Because he's a guy that makes your team better, right? And I didn't know that was the way that the Celtics were going. You know what I'm saying? So could Miles Norris sign a standard contract to sign Amari? Yeah. But you think Norris has done enough? I don't know. He literally hasn't. He hasn't done anything in. Yeah. Even though I like his size, I like his archetype. He like a huge shooting wing that can rebound, that can block some shots sometimes as a weak side defender. But I don't know. I don't know. Starting lineup is probably D White, Simons. I forget bro. I be forgetting we got Anthony Simons, bro. I did be forgetting we got Anthony Simons. PP probably best right now at finding cutters. Probably Ernesto Tillman last shot. Probably, yeah. Look out for that pairing when Thad Young was on the Raptors. They had instant connects. Hey, Chris Boucher and Thaddeus Johnson. Listen, man. Mario Williams lobs to Chris Boucher, man. I'm please desperate. Danny hanging on to Walker Kessler. He should be competing on a good team. He should. Come on, no, I think he's on it. So yeah. We have completely flipped our financial situation, right? I think coming into this offseason, our tax bill was like 540 million, and now it's like 220. So we took off 300 M's in tax penalties, and we're just a much cheaper team. We started the offseason, of course, over the second apron. Now we are like very close to being under the first apron. 10.7 million under the second apron. We're like 1.5 million over the first apron. And so yeah, we don't have to worry about that anymore. And this gives us room for when Tatum comes back. We can make some moves, right? We can make some moves and still have the flexibility to aggregate contracts to trade for players, because it's super hard to improve your team when you're doing like 1-for-1 trades. Because especially if you're a team that's trying to win, a lot of those teams do trades where you're like packaging 2 or 3 smaller guys to get one player that's better, right? Or they do the opposite, where it's probably a top heavy team and they need some depth pieces, so they trade like a starter or like a good role player for like 2 or 3 guys, right? But it's super hard. You don't have that if you're in the second apron. Like, you can't aggregate. So I think getting under the second apron to be able to do that when Tatum comes back is really important. We completely get off the KP contract. That 30 million is gone, even though it was expiring. The Celtics were able to get off it before the season even started. The Drew contract, we still have Anthony Simons. We did get cheaper, of course, for less time. Anthony's expiring, I do believe, and he's a guy that can score the ball. He can replicate some of the 3-point attempts that Tatum takes, because a lot of our offense runs through Tatum, shooting those like above the break threes and those high pick and roll. Tatum led the NBA with like, I believe, 9 above the break 3 attempts per game, and Anthony Simons was like 8th. You know what I'm saying? So Tatum takes 9.5, Anthony takes like 7.5. So just strictly the above the break attempts, like the Celtics will be good, and I think Anthony Simons really fits Mazzulla Ball on the offense side of the ball. Defense, we can talk about that later. But yeah, and then George Niang for RJ Lewis. I'll do a lot on RJ Lewis. I believe his name is Reggie, but he just goes by RJ. He was St. John's best player last year, I believe. I didn't watch a lot of St. John's, but I know they had a good team. I think Aaron Scott, who we signed to a training camp deal, they were teammates. So I don't know what's gonna go on with RJ Lewis. I don't know if there's another move coming, but Chris Boucher. I've talked some about Chris Boucher, but again, I like this signing. It just makes less sense now that Tatum's out. it just makes less sense now that Tatum's out and then we've made the moves to get worse as a team. Even though we got less even though we got less expensive, which we absolutely needed to do, we got worse as a team. There's no doubt about that. And Boucher fit this team a lot better. Like, he is supposed to be on a contender team, right? The Celtics could still probably make the playoffs, especially the play-in, especially in the Eastern Conference. But Boucher is a guy that I've always wanted on the Celtics because he's a guy who has very long arms. He's lanky. He can switch a little bit. He can definitely block shots. But he can shoot the ball, right? He can shoot the ball. He can attack closeouts. And he is also a really good cutter. So I like Chris Boucher. He's probably going to start at the 4 for us. He is a little bit old. How does Chris Boucher? I know he's in his 30s because I was looking at it last year and I was like, damn, he's a little older than I thought. But all right, Chris Boucher is 32 years old. So when is his birthday? July? Nope, not his birthday. Birthday? Born 1993. That's his birthday. Okay, cool. Yeah, but I do like Chris Boucher's game. It just makes less sense now that we don't have our best player. What? Are you saying? Wait, what you mean? What? You didn't know he was that old or what? Yeah, he 32, bro. I didn't know he was that old. I did not know he was 32. Bobby Marks just posted our roster. Derek White, Anthony Simons, Jaylen Brown, Chris Boucher, Kata, Payne Pritchard, Ugo Gonzalez, Baylor Shyman, Sam Hauser, Josh Minot, Jordan Walsh, Xavier Tillman, Luka Garza, Tatum, of course, injured. Like, Amari Williams is not on this list right now. Do we still have an open roster spot? I do believe we still have an open roster spot. Miles done enough on Maine at least. Need to see if he can compete in the NBA. I don't know why we let Drew Peterson go as well. Always liked his stints in Boston. Yeah, I did like Drew Peterson. Oh yeah, I think we have an open roster spot. Because we did waive JD. He was the third two-way, but we just picked up RJ Lewis. But I think we have 14 players on standard contracts. Hold on, let me the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah. So we still do have an open roster spot. We can obviously clear that for, like, if we trade Tillman, like people are saying. It's crazy kids who were born in the 90s are approaching 30s. Yeah. Yeah, man. That's crazy. Yeah. So yeah. I just missed the 90s, bro. I just missed the 90s. So yeah. We also wait. We got 3 trade exceptions. We got a $22 million trade exception. I believe that was the difference between KP and Niang's contract. Then we have an $8.2 million trade exception. I believe that was just George's, and then $4.7 million. We have 2 tradable firsts. We have 6 incoming firsts, which I think that is just like our first. 4 future 2s. Yeah. So we looking a lot cheaper, even though we looking a lot worse. I ain't gonna lie. But we're gonna see, man. But I don't know what the hell is about to happen with Amari. We do still have an open roster spot. Again, I would rather have Charles Bassey on like an actual standard deal. I think a 2-way for Amari was perfect. But again, things can happen. We can probably like waive RJ, honestly. That would suck for him, like being on a 2-way contract and then just getting waived like that. But he was a guy that I thought would go like late second round, but he was like a priority undrafted guy. Like, teams were like lining up to sign him to a 2-way after the draft. So I'm not saying he's gonna be anything crazy, but I don't think we need to take another flyer on the guy that's a wing, especially a guy that can't shoot. Like, if you look at all of our young wings, right, they all have the same problem. Like, they're athletic, they can switch, they can play defense, they can rebound, but they can't shoot. You look at Jordan Walsh, right? Great defender, great length, athletic. The swing skill is his shooting. Ugo Gonzalez, athletic, cool defender, is gonna block some shots, great offensive rebounder, His swing skill is shooting the ball. Josh, why not? Athletic, 6'8", toolsy, can switch, can rebound, swing skill, shooting the fucking ball. And then you add RJ Lewis. Like, even we signed Aaron Scott to the training camp shit. Like he can't shoot. Like, who's the guy on some of the Kendall Brown, athletic as shit, can't shoot. All of our wings, that's not Tatum Brown and Sam Hauser, can't shoot. Of course, Shyman. I need Shyman to shoot better. I think Tillman is gone. There's no way you keep Tillman. Somebody has to be gone. And I just think you shouldn't have signed Luka Garza. Is my opinion on the situation. That's my opinion on the situation. I don't think you should have signed Luka Garza. Because now you don't have a clear starting five. Because I don't think Baylor would be here, to be honest. Why? What? We just drafted him. We drafted him last year. I think Garza is a backup to Cada. He shouldn't be. Like, you might be right, but he shouldn't be. Like, I would rather just rotate. I mean, they're gonna be rotating. But again, I would rather play Amari than Garza. That's just me. Like, I know what Garza is, even though he hasn't had a lot of time. He can definitely like show us stuff in like more time because he's a pick and pop guy. Even though I think he's a better shooter than his numbers say. I know in college, like, he was an insane scorer. He can shoot the ball. He has low post moves. He can rebound. But on defense, but Garza's better right now. Yes, yeah. But I just think there's more potential with Amari. And then you actually spent draft capital to pick him. Now politics might come into play a little bit, because Garza just signed an actual 2-year contract. Like, there's no team option on his. Like, he got a fully guaranteed 2-year deal. So I don't know. Amari is still raw, yeah. But I think the same shit that, well, Amari can't shoot, just to save his life, but like, Amari is a better passer. Amari is a better defender. Who's a well, obviously Amari hasn't played in the NBA yet, so I can't really say this with certainty. But I think Amari is more well, I don't know. That's a good question. Obviously, Garza is better right now because he actually played in the NBA and has had some sense where he can like show that he can actually score. Is Amari? Yes, Amari's a better defender. Yes, it's not even close. Yes, he's a better defender. Yes. Like, Amari's not a rim protector, but he can block shots. And I've seen him switch onto NBA guys, like NBA prospects. There was a game, I think tournament game against Illinois. Will Riley, he like locked him up like 5 times on switches. Now, it's Will Riley. I'm not saying that he's an NBA guy. Like, he's this Kyrie Irving type of guy. But I've seen him switch onto guys in the tournament, in some league. Like, he's not a switching 5, but he can. But he can definitely hold his own at the rim at least. He's not a rim protector. He's not going to be blocking like 5 shots a game. I probably wouldn't even call him like a plus, but he is a solid enough rim protector. And of course, he is still raw, like you said, so he can get better at that. But Garza is not like, no. Mm-mm. I can't get that one. So yeah, Garza, Amari, of course, Garza's played, so I would give him the edge. But we just drafted Amari, and I would probably give him the benefit of the doubt. But you did just sign Garza to a fully guaranteed 2-year, $5.5 million contract. So they obviously have plans for Garza. So I don't know. Let me my charger is not charging. And I think that's why my thing is skipping a little bit. Let me plug that in right quick. I'm not going nowhere. I'm right here. I'm not going nowhere. But yeah, we got some work to do. And I'm just glad that we finally got some action. I'm just glad we finally got some action, y'all. It's been a long time. Summer League ended what 12 days ago? Not even 12 days ago. That ended July 20th. So I still had to watch a lot of stuff. I haven't watched all of the Summer League games because I was out. I watched like 3 of them, but appreciate y'all for joining. I'm gonna put my Twitter down in the description somewhere, or I'm gonna just put it in the comments because y'all know what probably happened at this time. But I don't know, man. I'm just glad to be back. Glad to be able to make content, and glad that we got some news that I can make content on. So, I appreciate y'all for joining. Let me put my Twitter down here. Copy. So our bench is PP, Baylor, Walsh, Mana, and Garza. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna get these vids out. Yeah, I'm gonna get these vids out. I'm probably just gonna do like the minivan left the building. Welcome back, Nick. Thank you. So yeah, I'm gonna get these videos out. I'm probably gonna do like a regular video talking about the trade and then us signing Chris Boucher. What that means for like the team in general and like a guy like Amari, and then I'll do some work on RJ Lewis. Do some work on Chris Boucher. I'm pretty sure people know about Chris Boucher, but I'm still gonna do some work on Chris Boucher. And yeah, that's about it. But I appreciate y'all for joining. Follow my new Twitter. I put it in the comments. Appreciate y'all for joining. It's so good to be back. It is so good to be back. I love this stuff, and I'm glad that people can join me in this journey. So I will see y'all very, very soon. But appreciate y'all.